Hey guys, how's it going? This video is going to be about basically being pro-gun and why I'm pro-gun. I do belong to the NRA, and I have ever since I got into guns, and I highly recommend anyone who has any interest whatsoever in guns and our freedom to bear arms. Please investigate it, look into it. If it's something you want to take part of, by all means, please join and support. Um, I'm actually part of a gun club, and we do a lot of NRA stuff in the gun club. But there's one individual who brought this piece of paper to one of our last meetings, and basically this is a reminder as to why they're pro Second Amendment. And I found it very interesting, and I want to make a video. And basically, in this video, I'm just going to read this paper word for word to you. So it might be a little bit boring, but anyone who's remotely interested in guns and the freedom to bear arms and the freedom to be able to be a gun owner and carry a gun and all that, you really need to hear it. And more so, this is kind of it's obviously open for discussion. Obviously, I never block the comments section. Feel free to say whatever you want. But this is kind of my stance for all the anti-gun people. Now, I firmly believe in freedom of speech as well, and I think that if you're against guns, by all means, voice your opinion, but have an adult conversation about it, and bring up some good points and have a discussion, not an argument. But anyway, I want to read this to you, and after I get done reading this entire page, I want any anti-gun people to post a valid response to this as to why having gun control is a good thing. But anyway, I found this really fascinating. And the second we were discussing this, I thought, man, this would make a great video. All right. It's titled A Little Gun History. All right, here we go. In 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control. From 1929 to 1953, about 20 million dissidents, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. In 1911, Turkey established gun control. From 1915 to 1917, 1.5 million Armenians, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Germany established gun control in 1938, and from 1939 to 1945, a total of 13 million Jews and others who were unable to defend themselves were rounded up and exterminated. China established gun control in 1935. From 1948 to 1952, 20 million political dissidents, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Guatemala established gun control in 1964. From 1964 to 1981, 100,000 Mayan Indians, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Uganda established gun control in 1970. From 1971 to 1979, 300,000 Christians, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Cambodia established gun control in 1956. From 1975 to 1977, 1 million educated people, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Defenseless people rounded up and exterminated in the 20th century because of gun control, 56 million. It has now been 12 months since gun owners in Australia were forced by new law to surrender 640,381 personal firearms to be destroyed by their own government, a program costing Australian taxpayers more than $500 million. The first year's results are in. Australia-wide homicides up 3.2%. Australia-wide assaults up 8.6%. Australia-wide armed robberies are up 44%. And it says in quotes, yes, 44%. In the state of Victoria alone, homicides with firearms are up now 300%. Note that while the law-abiding citizens turned them in, the criminals did not. And the criminals still possess their guns. While figures over the previous 25 years showed a steady decrease in armed robbery with firearms, this recent change drastically went upward in the past 12 months, since criminals are now guaranteed that their prey is unarmed. There has also been a dramatic increase in break-ins and assaults of the elderly. Australian politicians are at a loss to explain how public safety has decreased. After such monumental effort and expense was expected in successfully ridding Australian society of guns. The Australian experience and the other historical facts above prove it. You won't see this data on the evening news or hear politicians disseminating this information. Guns in the hands of honest citizens save lives and property. And yes, gun control laws adversely affect only the law-abiding citizens. Take note, my fellow Americans, before it's too late. The next time someone talks in favor of gun control, please remind them of this history lesson. With guns, we are citizens. Without them, we are subjects. During World War II, the Japanese decided not to invade America because they knew most Americans were armed. The purpose of fighting is to win. There is no possible victory in defense. And then I like this. This is the last little sentence on here about Switzerland. Switzerland issues every household a gun. And by the way, this is all factual information. This is not opinion. These aren't guesses. These are facts. These are history facts. Switzerland issues every household a gun. Switzerland's government trains every adult they issue a rifle. Switzerland has the lowest gun-related crime rate of any civilized country in the world. It's a no-brainer. Don't let our government waste millions of tax dollars in an effort to make all law-abiding citizens an easy target. And then the closing statement, I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. So I thought that was very fascinating. A lot of this, I mean, obviously, Germany, World War II, I knew all that stuff, but I had no idea about Turkey, Guatemala, Uganda. It's very interesting. And the whole reason we study history is so that we don't repeat ourselves and repeat history and all the bad mistakes that we've made over time. And certainly I had no idea Switzerland issued a gun to every household. I think that's very fascinating. And, if you doubt any of this information, please, by all means, do your own research, look it up. I did actually go back and look a couple of these things up to make sure it was factual and not just some kind of propaganda or slander. But just a real interesting little read for you guys. Can't wait to see the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.